Welcome to Business Talk, Sister Gawk. I'm Becca, and today's podcast episode is titled The History of Marketing. And this is actually a series that I've been doing for quite some time. This is part 4 in the series. So if you have missed any of the other episodes, you should go back and listen to them. With me today, I have Jennifer Olson. Thank you so much for being with me.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, and you have a business in marketing, am I correct?
I do, yes. I started my own business targeting small businesses. So doing marketing for them and putting them on the map.
Yeah, and what's your business name, just so we have it?
It's North End Marketing.
Okay, so interesting story about Jennifer and I. We scheduled this a few weeks ago, and I'm so thankful that she's going to do most of the talking and I get to ask the questions because I have been sick. And so I'm like, man, I'm amazed I even have a voice today. So tell me a little bit about like as you've been kind of following along with our marketing series and everything, what you have seen so far in the history that I've kind of put together of like, oh yeah, I remember this, and like this is what I saw from my experiences.
So with my background, it's more on the graphic design side of things.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I've been doing graphic design since 2009. So I feel like I kind of started at the beginning, but like not as far back as like paper and pen, but more
Mm-hmm.
so on the digital side of things.
Mm-hmm.
And back then it was like, if you wanted to change something in the background of the graphic, then you had to use a clone stamp and stamp different areas and make a whole new graphic doing it that way. And then you fast forward to today and it's like, whoa, like AI is now importing things for you just by a keyword. So it's kind of crazy, just like the in between of like, how did we get from there to here? And
Yeah.
it's just completely wild to me. Yeah.
Yeah, like the speed of production has just gone up dramatically with what people are able to produce in terms of content. Is that kind of what you're
Uh,
seeing?
yeah, absolutely. Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
So have you seen kind of any more like almost like a backswing of distrust with the AI generated stuff, or what are you looking at?
Yeah. So I have been taking a bunch of online classes and courses, just kind of, keeping up with the whole AI like front and everything. And what I've noticed is a lot of people do have distrust in AI and trusting what they're seeing online, if it's real or if it's fake, because you don't know anymore. And it's kind of gotten a backlash, but at the same time, it's going to always be there. So in my mind, I do feel that AI is kind of falling into the wrong hands, which is making people distrust it more. And it's kind of scary in a way, but at the same time, it's such a great tool for marketers, graphic designers in certain ways. But in a lot of ways, it's scary because you don't know if you're watching a video of a cat that's like jumping into a puddle, if it's real or if it's fake, stuff like that.
Yeah, well, and that was actually so this is something I remember a long time ago. When I was working doing a live video cast with Google, and I distinctly remember like we were presenting to a bunch of small business owners, and the Google team is on the presentation talking, and they were talking about how much data they have, and they said, "We no longer think about consumer behavior. We know." And
Yep.
that was the point when I was like, I need to think about getting out of this field.
Yes.
And
It is so scary.
yeah, like just a little bit uneasy about the amount of data we have given over to just the mass of the internet or data centers to use for like artificial intelligence and like how they can almost mimic you as a person. I'm sure like
Mhm.
I've even told my family like there's so many recordings of me on the internet because of my podcast. Do not be surprised if someday I call you and it's somebody else pretending to be me.
Yep,
Um,
absolutely. There's
yes.
companies out there currently that you can hire them, like take a voice actor or like take your voice and say certain words, and then they can write an entire video script for you just from
100%.
the words that you're using.
Hmm.
Um, one of my previous companies, I was actually somebody actually reached out to me and asked me if we this would be something we're interested in. And I was like, hold on, step back for a second. Like I don't like this is kind of scary just to know that you could take anybody's voice and manipulate it to saying the words that you want it to say.
Yep.
It's just crazy.
Yeah, no, totally. And actually, one I remember this was actually a few years ago when this stuff first started coming out. My virtual assistant was sending me a bunch of stuff and saying, "Hey, I would really like you to consider getting a subscription to this source where you can just put in like these pronunciations to these words. We'll type all the content, and then we can start mass generating YouTube videos for you that match the content strategy or the branding of your podcast, Business Talk Sister Talk."
Mhm.
And at that time, I was like, first of all, I would need to like review every single thing you guys produce for me to even feel comfortable with that because I'm a quality person and I want everything that I do to like match my real passion and vision. And
Yep.
second of all, like I was like, whoa, this is about to get nefarious like so fast. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Because,
and then
yeah,
they could
go
take it
ahead.
one sorry, they could take it one step further and then create a video generated image of you too using AI for you to
Mhm.
speak these words on top of it. It's just it's could get out of hand so easily and so quickly.
Yeah. Well, and I think like I think it was just a couple weeks ago, Amazon announced like 14,000 people getting laid off, and then YouTube announced a voluntary layoff and stock buyouts. And like there's a lot of like white collar as well as blue collar jobs that are getting taken over by artificial intelligence and I honestly think like a lot of content producers on YouTube have said in the last couple months they're not seeing the financial return that they were before on YouTube because the amount of content that's being produced by AI is just like boatload filling YouTube to the point that
Hmm.
it's like they're not getting the same return they were before for
Nope.
real content, you know? And
Hmm.
I say real, but you can use AI for real content. But
Yeah. But like even like if you look at say Facebook, so that was originally engineered to be a place to have social, interactions with people. And now if you're scrolling on it, all you see is an ad and ad and ad and then like, oh, generate content with AI. And it's being pushed so hard that all you like it's not even social media anymore. It's just media that's being pushed at you. So it's definitely I feel like it's being thrown in our face to use it, but we don't all know how to use it properly and responsibly.
and I think the responsibly aspect is like probably the 14-year-old version of myself having no idea how to use Facebook. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? Like
Yep.
when you're like, oh, this is this cool platform. And you used to just like type things because it would be like, your name is. And then you would just say what you were doing. And it was like making cookies or whatever.
Yeah. Like, how do you feel today?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And now it's like this whole other thing where you look back at like your teenage self or whatever, and you're like, what was I doing on the internet?
What was
Like,
I thinking? Yes.
yeah.
Yep.
hmm
I
So
think
I
I'm gonna
think,
blame MySpace for that.
yeah, well, and I think like that's started kind of happening with the AI piece right now. Like people are just throwing stuff out there, like, oh, let's see if this works or what does it look like as they're
Hmm.
creating, right?
Yep.
But what are you seeing like as in the industry and you're working on stuff, like how has that affected website build out and like just promoting small businesses? What do you see changing?
A lot of people are going to try to use AI to build like, their own websites. 100%. I'm seeing ads for that already. Graphic designs, it takes all the creative out of it, and that's the part that I don't think people understand. Um, so for, I guess, an example, um, people will come up with a logo. And this happened to me. Somebody had presented me a logo and saying, well, this is what I want, but can you change like this part and this part to it? And I have to ask them, okay, is this AI generated? And she said, yep, absolutely it is. I'm like, okay, well, there's a lot of rules that come with AI generated content. First, there's a copyright issue. Second of all, what they're producing is an image, not a logo. And so there's different aspects to it that people aren't understanding, but they're taking this information and running with it. I mean, I used AI to help generate content ideas. And when I used it, it actually had said to me to use a GIF or a meme, whatever, from Google, like take one of these GIFs or memes. And I took a second and I was like, wait, that's copyright infringement. So I like wrote back to it and I said, isn't this copyright infringement to use these graphics? And then they replied, yes. So AI will like tell you to use something in marketing or for social media content, stuff like that. But what they give you isn't always legal to use. And so it could open yourself up to worse, case scenario with a legal issue with it and everything. So it's definitely, it goes back to the be responsible and understand how to use it and like know like what they're giving you isn't always 100% true and it's not just a free option out there for your marketing needs. Does that make sense?
Right. Yeah. Well, and with that, like, there's a lot of, okay, you're generating stuff, so nobody's gonna know or whatever. That's what I hear a lot of. Well, nobody's gonna know because it matched up all of these different things and created something new. You can't prove it. And I'm like,
Yep.
I
But
don't,
you
I don't think so.
there's enough data.
Yeah.
There's the data out there. Like you, no matter where you go online and no matter what you search and everything, you can erase your history, but it's still out there and it's still traceable. It might not be to you, but another, programmer, God forbid, AI is going to track it for you, and
Mhm.
it's out there. So there will always be a way for it to come back at you. So,
Yeah, and I think too, like when specifically, even when it comes to fonts, I mean, fonts
oh,
are a huge, huge thing. Like they're very difficult to um copy and get away with it, really,
yep.
because I mean, there's intellectual property protections in the United States for a reason
Mhm.
over
Yep.
trademarks. And when you have like a handwritten font that is a brand, and then somebody else knocks it off and says, "Oh no, no, well, I just used AI for this." Well, the thing is, like if you look at just the way the curves of the letters go and everything, it's copyrighted material. And you could
Mhm.
definitely put yourself in a position later that you're going to get held up. I mean, I've seen people that they've had to close their business down over the fact that their logo looked just a little bit too similar to somebody else's and they hadn't copyrighted. They hadn't gone through the process of trademarking their stuff within the specific industry class they were in.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
It can happen so quickly.
Yeah, and if you don't understand copyright law and trademarking, like you're gonna be in a way more difficult position if ever you get an email, because some of it is spam. That's like,
Mhm.
oh, cease and desist, but like they're just like making it up and they're from some East Asian country trying to like get money out of you, you know?
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Yeah. So, yeah, how are you using this stuff today? And what are you seeing as the next steps of as you're taking these classes and learning? Where are you seeing things change and adapt?
Um, so I use it a lot for, like I said, content ideas. If I'm stuck on an idea or something and I'm like, I need to find something that I haven't really talked about before and I need to post something and I need to get something out there. I'll ask AI to help me. Chat GPT, like, okay, what are some great topics this week? And then they can generate that for you. And you're like, okay, like, what angle can we go with this? And you ask different questions to it, and it's going to come up with a script for you. I would never take that same script that they produce for you because it would never, it 99% of the time, it's not going to match your brand and your voice and just the look and feel of how you present yourself out there. So I would never take everything that they say to heart, like, repeat it word for word. Um, oh my gosh, I'm losing my train of thought on this now. I also do use it for graphic references too. So I'll say, okay, if I have makeup company, Nimbus Clouds Coffee or something, I want to know what like they're gonna put together out there for a graphic idea. Just to curiosity, maybe get my wheels spinning, but I would never copy what they're using. So from my standpoint, I like to gather information and do research and see what is AI pulling itself to kind of get an idea of like what the world would be looking at it as. But I would never use it to copy exactly what's out there. So I guess like that's one way that I use AI. It just helps me get my creative juices flowing again if I'm ever
Mm-hmm.
stuck in a situation. I've seen people use it. I haven't done this personally, but people have put together brand guidelines using AI.
Mm-hmm.
And once again, it doesn't work. So coming from like a designer perspective, when you when somebody presents something to you from AI and they're like, this is exactly what I want, and it doesn't match your brand and your look and your feel, you have to, as my role, I would have to take that all the information that they give me and then rework it so that it would match their brand and go within the brand guidelines, matching their voice and everything. So for me, I use it as a tool, but not as a final end result.
Mm-hmm.
Long story short, I did ramble a little bit there. Sorry about that.
No, that's totally, yeah. So you had mentioned like people think that they have a logo, but it's just an image. Can you expand on
Mhm.
that and what you mean by that?
Yeah. So when people are searching for logos, and there's a lot of companies out there and a lot of AI tools out there that will give you an actual logo. But if you go to ChatGPT and be like, I want a logo, and then you give it all these, codes and everything, what it's going to generate back to you is just an image. And a lot of time there's a lot of fine details, a lot of artwork that comes in it. The text is usually like flowing within the graphic and not separated out, and it's an image. It's not going to give you a logo. You're not going to be able to download that and use it as a vector image or use it as a PNG because it's going to have the white background on there. So when you're downloading these things, it's not going to work unless you give it to a designer who's going to literally trace out everything for you and then give that back to you and say, "Hey, look, here's your logo." But a lot of times the logos that they give you are just they're images, and it's very detailed images. So like the
Yeah.
rule with logos is you if you can make it super small and you can still read it, that is your goal. But if you so you're taking the same image and just scaling it down. So you would want your logo to work on print, on apparel, say if you want to get it embroidered, things like that. That's
Mm-hmm.
how you want to be able to have a good logo that way. And that's some things I guess a lot of people don't understand is that when you go and chat GPT, I need a logo. Well, it's not going to work because A, it's an image. B, it will not scale very well at all. And C, it's copywriting infringements as well. So,
Yeah, and I
yeah.
think, and I just want to like clarify that. So you're talking more about like it's not going to be a vector file, which is mathematically
Yes,
calculated to enlarge and subtract. So like if you were to try to blow it up to be the same image on a billboard, it'd be super pixelated because it's just an image.
exactly. Yep.
Yeah. Hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah. Awesome. So tell me a little bit about why you are doing what you're doing today and how have you leveraged transitioning into like using all these different technologies?
Yeah. I want I decided to start my business to focus on small businesses. I want them to thrive. I want them to, you know, make their mark in this world and follow their dreams. Um, Not a lot of people understand the importance of using graphic designers and marketers to build their businesses. They think it's a waste of money, and really, it's not. It's a huge investment into your company. And a lot of these smaller companies, they don't want to waste the time of learning how to do AI or understanding why they need to have a brand guideline or mess with social media and so on and so forth. So I yeah, I've been wanting to help small businesses. So this is why went out on my own. I absolutely love my little town and so I wanted to promote it and by just helping them get their footing in the ground and understand how marketing works and understanding it's not super difficult if you have the right tools.
Yeah, so with that, as you've been working with small business owners, have you seen a division of the people who have chosen to start investing in their branding, in their marketing versus those who do not?
Yes, I've seen a lot more people get excited about their brand and wanting to promote themselves even more and gaining more customers and more businesses. I I've seen them themselves become more creative in different angles of how they can do things and branching out, whether it be like reaching out and partnering with another company within the town or doing apparel and like promoting their businesses by giving away apparel and things like that. It's just been really exciting to see the excitement in them that I'm giving them and helping them understand like marketing isn't just about social media and posting that way. It's a much bigger thing, getting your brand out there, being involved in the community, having wanting people to come in and like them not be nervous about coming into a new business and stuff like that, giving you like a safe personality to come to. It's been really joyful to see how the businesses have evolved since I've helped them.
Yeah, so tell me a little bit about that progression of like what was working really well. I know you said you've been kind of in this since like 2009. So what was working well and what has changed?
Um, Honestly, I think it's well, for me, it's how I present myself to other people. And knowing that I am there to help them through every step of the way and that they're not alone on this, first of all, that really, really helps. Um, I have seen a lot of businesses definitely like working together on things. So, for example, I've been helping out a boutique recently, and she and the coffee shop next door, they're going to start doing a little bit of a collab together and getting events started and things like that. So it's also like building the relationships between two companies to come together, which is really exciting. And overall, then it would strengthen my community and
Yeah,
have everyone work together and stuff. So it's been exciting to see those types of
no,
things
yeah.
come to life.
I would say that that's a really good point. So like especially with the change in the way you can invite people to be collaborators on like your posts on Instagram and Facebook and all these different things, I think there's way more cross promotion opportunity than ever before
Hmm.
because it was just like, oh, tag us in your post. But now it's like, no, it shows up on both of your stuff when you're both collaborators. And
Yep.
that definitely has been a bigger change over the last year that I've seen for small business is crucial because you're getting your product or your brand out there in connection with another brand that people already know and love. And
Hmm.
when you both have an audience and you cross promote, you are building a culture
Hmm.
around a small area of like, if you love this and you're going to love this, and we're right next to each other.
Yep, exactly. Yep. Just
Yeah.
creating a trustworthy bond. And like you said, like if one person is really like in love with the coffee shop and then they hear the coffee shop is partnering with the boutique, they're more inclined to go to that boutique and shop there as well. It's just creating that special friendship bond and trust within the community and with the businesses. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So we have talked a lot about quite a few different things. But
Yeah.
I want to ask, how can people find you?
Yeah. I'm on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram. Um, it's under North End Marketing MN for Minnesota. And yeah, I'm on all three platforms. You can check me out there, or you can go to my website, which is northendmarketingmn.com, and you can see all of the joyful things I can offer people.
Awesome.
And I
Awesome.
also do have apparel on there that I do my own graphic design stuff too for apparel. So I do have apparel for sale on there as well, so you can browse.
Right on. As an artist.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's transition to the gawk portion of this episode. You kind of mentioned this, and I'm kind of like gonna call it out because I want to talk about it. You had said that you were working with another company before you became an entrepreneur, and one of
Mhm.
the reasons you decided like it wasn't a good fit for you anymore was because you got a new boss that had a very different personality. And it was so lovely, like how you put it. You said, this person was a lot more aggressive than I'm used to. And I like the first thing, my first question to Jennifer was this person from the East Coast? She said yes. Yes. So tell me like what were like because that to me like is I want to talk about that because I do think it's a cultural difference between the Midwest and the East Coast. And like I see this happen a lot with like acquisitions and mergers when you have like an East Coast team come in, they're very like push, 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 push as fast as you can. And then like in the Midwest, we're like, oh, excuse me there. Like you know what I'm
Yes.
saying? Like there's
Yes.
like tell me like what your experiences with that were like and how did that look? Because I think that other people probably have had this experience or may in the future and have no idea what's happening to them.
So I will say this. I don't think that East Coast people in general do not mean to come off as strongly as they do. I think it's just how they were naturally raised in the environment that they're
No, it's
in.
totally a cultural thing.
Um,
It's just a
yeah,
difference. Like,
it's so crazy. Yeah. So instead of saying like, hi, could you please get this done? It was get this done as soon as possible. And like to me, like even like in my tone of voice, it's like, okay, I'm reading that completely differently than how it would be like, oh, can you please get this done? And it's a completely different vibe. And for me in that environment, I was just not comfortable with it. I tried to kill with kindness type thing, and I was trying to still keep my composure, but I was just for me it was just really frustrating. And I think that you have to have a certain mentality to be able to work in, I guess, with people from the East Coast. Like you have to kind of put like your all of your emotions on the back burner and just operate. And I don't know, for me it was really hard to do. I couldn't do it. And I think it's just because I'm like raised in the okay, like be polite, be nice and everything like that. Like that's how I was raised. I mean, that's the whole, well, for me, Central Minnesota
it's
way.
more of a
is
sensitive culture.
yes, yeah, we're
Yeah.
nice and we're sweet and we're passive aggressive. And they're just very direct. And it's like, okay,
Oh,
whoa,
I
like what
love
did I
that.
do?
No,
Like what
I
did I
love
do to you?
it.
And
Yeah.
then yeah, then you overthink everything. And then for me, I got in my head so badly with it. And I just had decided, this is taking a toll on me. And so
Hmm.
I want to work with smaller businesses within the area that I know have kind of the same mannerisms as I do, at least for the most
Yeah.
part. So that's why I chose to leave the company that I was working for. It was a wonderful company and everything. It wasn't a good fit for me anymore
Yeah, no,
since they
but
had made the
it, but
changes.
but I love that you described like this is how it affected you because I think that sometimes like because I'm a super forward person. Like I don't like to beat around the bush with people, but I also get along really well with East Coast people because I always know where I stand with them, you know?
Yes.
Whereas like in the Midwest, what's interesting about our culture is like you can do something mean to somebody and they'll never tell you it was mean, but they're gonna remember it for 20 years and they're gonna put every single roadblock in your way to make sure you never get success. Like and you're like, why is this not happening? And like later you're like, oh, it's because this person doesn't like me. But they never
Yep.
told me they didn't like me. They just went out of their way to be like difficult and you had
Yes.
no idea. Like,
Yep. No clue.
so it's super interesting because like that's a very different cultural thing if you don't understand it, like coming into like a business in the Midwest, like you can come off like super bossy or
Right.
like all
Yes.
these different ways. And so it's yeah, I love your perspective though of like emotionally how that was hard because I don't think that people realize both sides of that, you know?
hmm Yeah, and like from my situation, I went from having a boss who was sweet as pie and just, well, maybe we should do it this way, or maybe we should do it this way. And like we we vibe together very well. And then when she retired, getting a new boss, I was like, oh boy, this is nothing like I was expecting and nothing I've experienced before. So it was just,
Yeah.
it's a wild turn,
There's a
wild
difference
turn.
of like collaborative versus top down kind of like
Yes.
vibes in that too sometimes. Yeah, super interesting. No, thank you for
I,
sharing.
yeah, yeah, not a problem.
Well, if you all have enjoyed this episode, you should give it a review on wherever you're listening, and I will see you next time.